Inspection stories, nightmares, and deal stoppers. We're here to discuss it all today. The good, the bad, the ugly, and what you need to know for inspecting your home.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Your Next Move with Erica Berry with Caldwell Banker HPW in North Carolina and
LuAnn Jones, Wycott Realtors, Livingston, New Jersey.
with all the experience in the world. We love it. Shout out to the Knicks for winning last night. I know you had a lot of commotion up there in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, having lived up there, I am very aware and haven't been to a lot of Knicks games. So good, congratulations. And just want to mark that today. But listen, you can run, but you can't hide. And your
Nope.
inspection is going to show it all. I'd rather be on
Yeah,
the
but
offensive than
the
the defense.
one rule I always tell everybody, especially sellers, the truth outlives the lie. So just be forthcoming and just be prepared
Right,
and tell the
right.
truth.
I mean, a lot of sellers, I recommend that they get an inspection before they put their house on the market. And they're like, I want to get an inspection. It's almost like running from the truth. Like, why don't you want to know what's going on in your home? You might as well know before they know because they're going to pull the covers off and then you're going to be on the defensive instead of the offensive.
Well,
And
hence my wording of the truth outlives the lie, So if you want to live in denial, chances are they don't want to spend the money because it's about $500-600 at least. And, maybe they want to, they're thinking, oh, maybe it won't come up, but it's going to come up. I have news for you. It comes up.
yeah, I mean, you can either spend the money now or you can spend the money later. There are certain things called material facts. And once they are revealed, you are now liable to tell the next. If those people back out, you have to tell the next buyer that these are material facts.
Right.
And maybe you can outline what a material fact is, something that you are obliged to tell once you know it. When you know it, you got to show it on your paper, your disclosure.
That's right. If you have a tank sweep and there's a tank that's found underground, well, that has to be disclosed now because
In
it's
North Carolina, they don't know nothing about tanks, but same thing with the HVAC. If something's up with the HVAC or there's radon in your house, you got to tell somebody.
same thing. Same thing. Anything that reveals itself, it has to be disclosed.
Right, right.
Or else, like I said, the truth outlives a lie, and then you'll have, you pay now and do it, the honest way, or you do it later, and I'll see you in court.
Well, you can't hide it. I mean, the bottom line is, if you see what's wrong with your house before you put it on the market and you're able to fix certain things, you can usually get a better deal when you shop it. As when you're in a short period of time where the buyers are doing an inspection, they come at you, they say it costs this much. And now you're like, oh my gosh, now you're on the offense and you gotta basically hurry up and get somebody in there or you may not close on time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's more costly doing it after the inspection because you have to get licensed tradesmen on things, and if you get a handle beforehand, if you have somebody that's handy or someone that where it's not too serious, obviously certain things have to be handled, by licensed tradesmen, like if there's termites or you have to get, an exterminator. I mean, if you have like rodent issues, same thing. But there's a lot of things that come up in the home inspection that, basically you could do it yourself or get somebody handy to fix like little things. But if you just ignore it and it comes up in the home inspection and it's something that you're going to have to do, well, then now you're hiring, a licensed contractor and everything has to be documented. And so that process is going to be more costly.
and also time is an issue. Like I had an issue of time. Like we found out we had termites on one of the properties and we wanted to repair it ourselves. We got a cheaper quote than they had. But the problem is they did not have a time within to close on time if they did it. Everybody was 4 to 6 weeks out. And
Oh,
now the buyers are asking for a credit and we got to give them the credit, because we don't have the time and we're fighting. You can't fight back and forth. It may be a difference of $500-600 you could have saved, but in the end, you give the credit.
yeah.
I mean, it's what it
Oh,
is.
yeah. I mean, it's simple because the thing is, if you do it yourself and it's not done right, then then they're going to complain that it's not been done right. And then they're going to be contacting you. And then you have to go back and it's more money and a hardship. And, best to give them the credit, let them find their own people. And then if there's any problems on that, at that spectrum of it, then that's up to them to get, corrected, not you. It doesn't become your problem. It's their problem now.
And usually when you have things that need to be fixed, you wanna get a credit because the lenders don't like to see that there's things. You don't want your lender to ever see the inspection report, right?
Yeah, they normally don't ask. I mean, and here in New Jersey too, buyers, go the extra mile. Don't be, penny wise and dollar foolish, because it does cost at least $1,000 for a home inspection here today.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, you have your regular inspection, which shows the termites, the inspection of the house, they do radon. But then the extra, like a la carte stuff, is a tank sweep and a sewer scope, because you
Yeah, the
want to make
sewer
sure.
scope,
Yeah.
you can infrared sewer scope with the little camera going
Yep,
in,
yep, make sure
here,
that there's no
so
blockage, because a lot of the times, especially if it's like a vacant property and you
mhm,
move in and you start flushing that toilet, well, for some reason, it just gets backed up. And one of
yeah,
my clients had a whole basement full of water after she moved in. And
wow.
I did recommend doing the sewer scope, but that was $275. And, she didn't want to go for that. So I was like, all right. And then we have them sign waivers because, we told you to do this. And
Right.
we have our receipts stating that you waived your rights to a sewer scope and or a tank sweep. And here's
So we
another.
have a sheet in Caldwell Banker of all our recommendations, and then they basically sign on the ones they decide they wanna do.
Yeah.
So,
And another one of my investor buyers, we were buying a three family, and in attorney review, the seller gave us the tank sweep certification, stating that Lombardo, which is one of the largest companies for oil tanks removals, and they do sweeps and anything tank related. They're huge out here in New Jersey, and they did a tank sweep, and they deemed, there was no tank, and we had the document. And so my buyer was like, oh, one less thing. We don't have to spend money on that. And I was like, no. And then I gave an analogies, like if you're buying a car, would you accept, a Carfax from the seller, or are you going to do your own
Yeah,
Carfax? And he's like, well, I'm going to do my own
this
Carfax.
whole
Same
just this
difference here. Same difference. So so he's like, well, how much? And at the time it was 200. So he says, all right, no problem. So I had my tank guy go out there. He did the sweep, found an oil tank. And
mhm,
that was like $20,000, because there was a pipe that was a public service issue that we had to wait like 6 months to get like removed.
mhm,
And the seller, I guess, at that time waited for after the sale, and then he was going after Lombardo.
okay,
For you know, they were going to have to pay for his removal because they said that he had no tank. So it
uh,
always pays to have it just in case. And my buyer said, thank you. He says that it was the best $200 he ever spent.
exactly. That's what you gotta do, and even, like, people will say, their HVACs are good, they're pretty new, but I would recommend an HVAC inspection and, I mean, to this week, the sellers on the property that I'm under contract were very surprised that one of their, there were 3 HVACs, that one of them's not working right and they need a new motor fan or something like that. It was frozen over. They had moved out, so, things happen when you move out, and the good news is usually when we put a seller under contract, they automatically are in on what doesn't cover the HVAC. But I would recommend if you're moving out of a house or if it's empty, to be under some kind of home warranty. We automatically put people under a general home warranty. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They're not bad, but it's always better to have a little something like when you have trip insurance. You always feel a little better because the weather and this. But I find that trip insurance sometimes doesn't cover everything. So be careful. Read the fine print. But anyway, that
Yeah.
could be a whole nother podcast. Some warranties are not like the other.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. And then here's another one. Most recently, we were doing a home inspection, and they had like this blue blower, like in the living room floor, blowing air, and I unplugged it. And, I didn't want my buyer to come in and think, is there water or whatever? So the home inspector's like, well, this is it's a blower that blows water. We have to make sure that there's no water there, right? So
Yeah.
I asked the listing agent, I'm like, and she thought that they were air conditioners there, but they removed those. I showed her a photo and I said, this is an air blower. So it blows the water, it's a blower. Basically, what it was is they put that there because it's vacant and stale air, and the radon came in very high, came in at 21.3 when we did the radon test. So I think they already pre-knew about this, didn't
Mhm.
say anything. The truth outlives a lie, and here we go. And I unplugged it because that thing couldn't be blowing there while we were doing our inspection.
And you guys ended up getting radon remediation system put in.
Yes, we're
That
in the
was
process of getting a radon remediation system.
if anybody doesn't know, radon is a odorless gas that can cause cancer. It emits up through the soil, and some areas are higher than others.
Yep.
And there's an easy way to fix it is to put a radon remediation that removes it from the home into your home. So
Yeah,
it's not.
basically it's a pipe, a big PVC pipe with a motor and a fan, and
Mhm,
the fan circulates the air. It sucks the air from the basement,
mhm.
and it sends it out into the atmosphere. So it
Yeah.
keeps the
Yep. I
radon
saw it.
levels.
Once it has goes right up and out, and it's pretty neat. And you can see that the radon is no longer a problem. Any fantastical stories, Luann? I mean, I know. Have I had any things with craziness? And I haven't really had any crazy inspection stories. I just say check it all. Have it. Make sure pre-check it and check it when you're with your buyers. Look up for anything. You can tell when people are trying to patch things to hide them from you. Poke around, your inspector will do that. But hire a licensed inspector that knows what they're doing, that will
Right,
explain thing to you. And I will say, this is one thing you have to keep in mind. A lot of buyers get very nervous when they're buying an older home and they get all the inspection report will bring up 50 million things, but it's an older home. You're not going to get everything fixed, right?
right.
As you
Well,
said, age
it's
is
an
not a
older home,
thing.
it's a used house, it's not
Yep.
brand new,
Right.
so there's gonna be problems, so you have to, choose it and pick and choose your battles. A lot of, like, cosmetic things the sellers aren't gonna do. So,
Right.
if you come with them with 20 to 50 things that you want done, that's extremely daunting.
Right.
Stick with the essentials, the
Right.
environmental part of it, the structural part of it, you know, and,
Roof, HVAC, water heater, radon, environmental
right,
issues,
that's the
oil
mechanical
tanks.
part of it.
Yeah, all
Yes.
those things, certain things you might be able to fix, like in one house, we have, like, the rafters. It's not a big deal, but you do want those connected. There's just certain things that, you definitely wanna
Well,
ask for.
structurally, you want things functioning, and you don't want to get into the midst of that because that could be like a money pit with that.
You don't want a
But you
money pit.
just want the essentials. You don't want the
Termites.
leaks, termites, carpenter ants, which are really
Yeah,
more deadly than termites.
right.
But everyone's like, oh, termites, they're not as
Carpenter ants are
bad.
actually worse, so,
Yeah, yeah,
good thing to know. We have a issue with what do you call it? A wall, retaining walls. Make sure everything's in good structural. If I My question was to one of the inspectors this week was, is this a cosmetic thing or is this structurally required for the operation of the home and the water flow of the home? And they confirmed that it actually was required. So
right,
I'm like trying to temper my client, like, are we going to really go after this or is this just a cosmetic thing? And I had to clarify that because, you can get into the nitty-gritty of things and
right,
overall say, "Hey, you have to be able to defend it to the sellers. Look, this is something that's helping with the water flow in this house. It has to be there. So,
yeah,
if it's failing, we need to fix it." So, you
yep,
know.
yep, yep. So
So,
there's always like some
don't
kind
let
of a
your story
story.
delayed. There's always a story. If you have a story or a question, hit it below. We'd happy to answer for you. It's always best to go to a licensed contractor. If something looks a little weird and you need to get structural engineers and everything, always be mindful of that. We can always have an inspector recommend other people. But,
That's right.
yeah. So you might need more things than you know, but first you get your inspector in there. They advise you, hopefully a really good one, advise you on what you need.
Yep.
But yes, I want to say New York. Help
New
got my shirt
York!
on. Go Knicks. I'm so excited for them. I used to go to the games when I was a lawyer in New Jersey. They used to give us free Knicks tickets. And my
Wow,
husband was like,
special
anytime
perks.
I know it was really fun. We get free tickets. I was sitting I had really good seats, sometimes box seats. you know, big firm in New Jersey. So that
Yep.
was a lot of fun. And they weren't winning back then, but now they are. Hey, it's going to be an awesome. But anyway, like, subscribe, and share. And we'd love to share and help you out with anything you need in New Jersey or North Carolina. I am your in the know where to go realtor of New Jersey, the Triangle area. And LuAnn is up in New Jersey. So happy to help.
Yep. We're here for you.
Signing out. Signing out. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon on our your next move. Let's have what's our next topic? I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of topics to choose from. I'll
So
have
much
to,
fun. We love real estate and we love all the topics. We'll come
yeah,
up with something good.
we'd love to hear from any of you guys with some suggestions.
What would you like to hear? All right, you guys have a great day.
Take care.
Bye bye.